So, welcome to yet another Mootalks. We're talking to a lot of people, and this time it's going to be much more exciting because we have our own chief servant of Moolya, and there's going to be a lot of interesting discussions that's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it. And thanks, Pradeep, for joining us. I think a lot of people have have been asking me about this, having to get Pradeep on the talk show, and it's exciting for me.
Uh, well, thank you very much. I'm still on my hand. I'm using my phone and checking are we live, but it's not showing that we are live.
We are live. We are
So
live.
we are live, is what you're
Yes, we
saying.
are live. Yes, we are live.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm going to assume that, and I'm going to yes. So
Yes,
I think it
so we are
is.
live.
Oh, we are live. Okay, fabulous. Thank you very much for that. Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and thanks Abhi, and thanks to everyone who has apparently said to Abhi that we need to get Pradeep on board for this. So my gratitude to all of you, and I did get some glimpses of the previous Mo talks, and I think that's quite an exciting series that we are coming up with. And the whole objective of this series is to um, help people succeed, better by bringing in topics very relevant to them, and also if people come and listen to this, their life has to change. So I hope that I can be of some help, okay, towards that. Life has to change for good. So yes, I'm looking forward to it, Abhi, and thanks a lot for organizing this to my colleagues, and let's get started.
100% Pradeep. I think sometimes whenever, or probably whenever I talk to you, I wonder who's the host and who's the participant. So thanks for
Yeah.
doing my job and your job as well. And so I know how much you like to talk, right? And how much you like to speak to people, connect with people, and all of that. So I have made the stock into different segments. So I'm going
Okay.
to have 15 minutes of each segment. So we're going to take up
Nice.
different topics in every 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's how we are going to go. And I'll give you a
Okay.
glimpse of what each 15 minutes is going to look like. But then the first 15 minutes is going to be very, very interesting because it's going to talk more about you and your journey
Me.
of, yes,
Okay.
your journey towards, testing, and how you, even in the background that says the Buddha in testing and a lot of other things, right? In general.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, so so the first segment is going to say, right, Pradeep as we know and who he really is, right? So we have seen you writing on LinkedIn. We have seen a lot of stories. You have been to conferences. You have spoken a lot of things,
Yeah.
right? And we know how you are. You talk about testing and a lot of other aspects that you bring. But I believe there's a lot of changes that has happened in the last few years, right? And I believe you've stepped into spirituality, or if you're spending yoga, and a lot of other areas that you are exploring, if I try to understand correctly. So why don't you just throw some light on how your pre-pandemic Pradeep and versus the post-pandemic Pradeep has been.
Okay. That's an interesting start, really, because I thought we were going to jump in directly to some, testing related stuff. Um, so I think pandemic put human life, okay, at the center, and made us ask a lot of questions. So for me, as a servant, uh, as a chief servant of Moolya, it it made me really think uh, about what are we serving our people, and what is every leader serving the people. And one of the things that I understood about building a company and building Moolya specifically, okay, is that the company is the people inside the company are going to, okay, mimic the leader that they look up to, and that was a good understanding for me. And then I said that if I don't live my life, if I am only talking about work, and if I don't have a life outside of work, and work is my life, and just because a lot of people are commenting and liking and sharing my post, if I make that as my life, then my life becomes very finite. There are so many beautiful things to do in this world, and I would absolutely love to enable people to experience that. Now, a lot of things to do in this world necessarily does not need money. Um, and I was really fascinated that whenever people think of a vacation, they only think of a resort. Why should it be so? And saw that people spend lakhs of rupees, go to a vacation and watch a sunset when actually sunset is free. You can you can watch
True,
it,
true. Yeah.
but so these kind of things really fascinated me, and I said that. As a leader of Moolya, I have to do two things. One is to enable people to be able to test well, and the second thing is to go beyond testing and, okay, help people live their life. So for that, first I have to you know I can't ask people to work out unless I'm working out regularly. So that way, I am working out regularly. I'm doing my yoga and meditation, and the number of meetings that we have actually started with a meditation,
True,
and
true.
so that way I think there is a change slowly coming in. And so in a few years from now, so what I have figured out at my age of 41, I would want people like you and Rocha and Vaishak and Amit and all of those people get to figure out at the age of 31, and not wait till 41 to figure those things out. And I think that's what the responsibility of a leader is, that I short circuit the journey for you so that you go much ahead of me. So I think that's the nutshell of my journey, and why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
Yes, I think Pradeep, there are two aspects of this, right? One, there's inner self, and there is
Hmm.
something that you are enabling people to do, right? For us, I think one of the best change that has come in is when we started to do that 1 minute meditation
Hmm.
in every meetings, because I think every
Yeah.
time we come into a meeting, we come with an expectation saying we have to say a lot of things, or speak a lot of things, but it sort
Yeah.
of calms us down a little bit and then focus on what needs to be done. That's a biggest change. And now coming to
Yes.
your inner self, right? I mean, what are the different principles that you have adopted, and what are the different activities that you are doing to be able to enable help help enable others as well?
Okay. So the rather than calling it principles, I would use the word awareness or consciousness, right? So I think I have expanded the definition of me beyond myself. So people like you are part of me. So if something happens to you, it also happens to me. If something good also happens, it also happens to me. That's the reason why I today celebrate everyone's success as my success, and I do parties more than they do parties. Not not like party, but I'm just saying, you know, I do a dance, celebrating one of the milestone that one of my colleague achieved. I don't know if that person did a dance, but I did a dance because I think, when we expand the definition of me, um, uh, we get to see the world in a very different way. So I think, fortunately, that's what I've been able to achieve, or that's what I've been able to come to realize. It's not an achievement. It's a realization that it's not just me, and so. what makes Moolya happen is not just me, it's so many people. So those many people are part of me. There are much more people outside in the community who are also supporting, Moolya from outside. They are all
True.
me. They're all me.
True.
So now that this definition of me has expanded, um, I'm able to live a much higher quality of life. I'm able to see life in the way it is. So I think that is what I would be able to describe.
Definitely, Pradeep. I think that's a good insight for us. I think we are usually very fast thinking. I mean, in terms of trying to make decisions, do a lot of things, hurry burry. And I think,
Yeah.
when we see you working, it's completely a different, way, right? And that's definitely something that we'll have to always take up for us and for whoever is planning to look at inner self and sort of become conscious with their mind as well, right? And now, slowly transitioning towards the Moolya journey, and there are a lot of things that we have been doing for the
Mm,
future and for the community and for our people and for the
mm,
future Moolyans as well, right?
mm, mm,
So
mm,
so let's you know quickly probably describe Moolya in the last 1 year or 2 years, and how is it going to look in the next couple of years to come?
okay. So there are two streams to Moolya. One stream for the customer, one stream for our Moolyans. So the stream for our customers is that we are doing a, a good amount of things to prevent bugs for our customers, and the customers are also acknowledging it. So I think Moolya uh, is going to continue to champion the prevention of the bugs caused, and we would have had a lot of good stories of uh, helping customers to succeed uh, in preventing bugs. So this is what is the customer side of the stream. The Moolyan side of the stream is that while we achieve that for the customers, people have a beautiful holistic life. Uh, so when people have a holistic life and they're able to achieve this value for the customer, that's the best fulfillment for our people. So for me, I think that's the path that we are heading to, and this is the most beautiful path. Typically companies say, "Oh, like let's say Apple. Our vision is to see an Apple iPhone in everyone's hand." Yeah, uh, but a lot of people who have an iPhone are still depressed. Uh, so what's the use? Whether I am depressed with an iPhone or I'm depressed with an Oppo, right, which I had a while ago, right? It's all the same, right? That ultimately the bottom line is that you're depressed. So it doesn't matter whether you have an iPhone and you are depressed, or you have an Oppo phone and you're depressed, because it's all the same. So what's important, for us is to be able to create this. And like in yesterday, in the governance, meeting with one of the customer. Um, yeah, of course, the team presented everything, and I asked only one question: how has your life changed? Are you able to spend more time with your family? Is this giving you more smiles? Is this making your journey easy? Is our service enabling you to make your life a lot more easy? And when the customer acknowledged, oh, absolutely, I have zero stress about things, and it's just going like in a semi-autopilot mode. That's the best that's the best testimonial we can get from any customer. It's not about, oh wow, yeah, of course we enable their business to grow, but what beyond that? Ultimately, all of this is for us to enable lives. So I think from that perspective, Moolya is way ahead of many companies in the world, and that's something that I'm really really proud about. And that's the journey that we are on. So I don't think there's any course correction required. I don't think there's anything better that we can do. And I must also say that in the journey of preventing bugs for our customers, we have come up with two new roles, and the BA in testing that's being championed, and we also worked on one project on that, and we're getting started on another one, is absolutely very exciting. And the journey that we are going to impact, influence, business, product, and tech is just uh, lovely. It's just lovely for
Mm.
me, who actually started as a tester, to be able to see this change happen. That through testing we are able to influence business and product and tech and all these functions. It's just a big, massive dream come true. So that's where we are. That's where we are heading to, and that's
True.
just simple and good.
Yeah, like you mentioned, so that's something that I want to bring it up. So there are two streams, right? One is we're talking about preventing bugs, right? That's for the
Mm-hmm.
customer side of it, and the industry. So I think we have seen a lot of customers speaking to us, and this has been
Mm-hmm.
agenda in what's happening in the industry and things like that.
Okay.
So let's go a little bit deeper about what preventing bugs mean to a lot of companies and products that we are going to work with, or people who are just existing there, right? Because this is a topic that needs to be spoken deeply, I believe, because since we have been speaking to a lot of customers, we understand the change from typical thinking testing process to holistic involvement in the process of engineering, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you had to describe to, let's say, people who are watching, who are going to watch it, or our customers, the products, so what it means for them, bringing in preventing bugs as an important aspect to the engineering.
Sure. So I speak, the nature of what I do. I speak with a lot of C-level folks. Um, Everyone in the C-level folks know why they're getting bugs. Period. Right? It's not that they don't know. We have the best of the CTOs in the world. They know unit testing is important. They know what is a good enough velocity to build quality. um, and they also understand that the business pressure drives them to deliver fast. All that stuff is great, is absolutely okay, great. Now, uh, the challenge of why the bugs are happening at the scale that they are happening is because of many different things. Is one, the world has got a lot more competitive, and today small startups and are eating large companies uh, over one round of funding. Right? Uh, so we are seeing a very different generation of companies. We are seeing companies that are rapidly growing at large scale. Um, so when we're seeing something like this, the speed is just at Mach 3, when the
True.
previous generation of software building was still slow. We are at Mach 3, and our testing is not scaling for Mach 3. Our when I say our, I'm now considering the whole world. Is that there's ton load of companies still writing test cases and then using that for automation. Um, uh, so there are plenty of such practices. Um, like none of the companies that I know of have got their front end automation working. I mean, even in the journey of Moolya, we've advised certain customers not to go with it, but they still went ahead, and then they realized that it's not required. And so I think there's a lot of what's a wastage there. I think there is a lot more automation that they need to get towards the back end. But the other problem that's happening in the industry is that most of the people learn Selenium and Appium and things like that, which are mostly front end ones, and they're very flaky. So a lot of maintenance work than actual building automation work and stuff like that. I think if these engineers say, hey, I want to be as good as a developer, but still be in testing and focus on back-end testing, focus on what's say on the API side, on the server side, on being able to test the microservices and being able to
Mm-hmm.
automate, at that layer. I think that would help in a lot of ways. But coming back to the prevention of the bugs part of it, is that I think the world knows why they are not able to prevent bugs. There's a cultural problem. There is a problem of the product team have certain agendas that they're committed to, and the tech
Mm-hmm.
team is trying to play the catch-up game in a lot of companies. I don't think if the tech team is trying to play a catch-up game, okay, we can make it work. And I want to bring the zero day example over here. The
Yeah,
product
yeah.
teams, the business teams, and the tech teams together make a decision of saying, hey, is this good for us to go? And if the tech team says no, the product team does not say that's okay, you put it out. We will look at it in the next release. Let's work on the backlogs and stuff like that. So I think the tech team having an equal say, to the business and the product is what Zero Day has been able to achieve. So I think there are enough good examples already like Zero Day in the world. Why are companies still encountering a lot of bugs that they are encountering, be it during their test cycle or be it in the production, is primarily because the speed at which they're going, the culture. Like here is another story. There's this company in Singapore. So it's quite a good company, famous company. They've grown large. They've got the best of the funding and all of that stuff. Um, so they had really good engineering practices, really good, and I think the whole of industry were looking up to it. Some of the best people I know work there and all of this stuff. But then they got they got an investor push to grow fast, and they then onboarded they grew their engineering teams like 10x
Mm-hmm.
in a period of 1 year. Now, those new people who came in did not have time to understand the practices, to understand the culture of the company. They have to start pushing code out on month one, at the end of month one. How is this possible? And they had not built the onboarding systems for those engineers. So what happened is that there was a massive chaos, and then they got into a lot of regression issues and all of that stuff. So this is like the number one reason for bugs in fast growing startups. In enterprises, there are different kinds of challenges in enterprises. In enterprises, they have certain regulations. They have certain speed. They have very traditional thinking in a lot of enterprises, and but now that's changing. And also another thing that's happening in enterprises is they're taking the buzzwords like shift left and trying to do
Mm-hmm.
something. Let's bring agile into this. Let's bring shift left into this. That's and without really giving the necessary coaching and the time for the transition to happen. So a lot of enterprises think they're doing good, and there are so many opportunities to do good, and the world is still more or less in the same shape. Like for instance, if you go to Twitter and you follow someone like Ben Simo or Michael Bolton, you will see like
Yep.
they are tweeting bugs every day in all the software that they're using. So I think the other thing that I'd like to conclude on to this particular thing is also, we as customers, when we have no option, when we are like, the monopoly is the worst thing to happen, to us as consumers, right? Like for instance, I want to say, the place where I stay, only Ola is available. Uber is not
Mm-hmm.
available. So I have to use Ola, and I have to just like even if there are ton load of bugs, I have to just say, yeah, well, that's okay. I still have to use it. So like that, I think for us as consumers, our quality bar, if it's going down, if then I think the companies think, so what? Pradeep is, still paying money. There's no motivation to fix. So I think the hunger is there at the early stage, startups, but as they grow, also that the same level of hunger, needs to be there. And very few companies have that. And those companies are certainly succeeding. And I would like to, mention, PhonePe, not just because they are our, customer, but PhonePe is doing a brilliant job of listening to customer feedback, and they have very good analytics and everything actually set up. And I have hardly encountered any issue. And I live in a place which has very low, network, and there are a lot of network issues. And phone pay works pretty seamlessly. So I think they're doing a good job. And I think I would, using this opportunity, I would urge, Rahul Chari and, Manikandan, who is the QA manager there, to come out and share more stories of how they're actually creating this. Um, and they are sharing, they are, of course, what's it, blogging about it. And I think
Yep, yep.
the audience should go listen to it. So, yeah, so I think that's my 12 mark answer for your 2 mark question.
Yeah, I think we should also sometime bring in Manikandan and talk about a lot of things that he has
Absolutely.
brought into
Absolutely.
PhonePe and talking about the prevention of bugs, right? So this is not
Mhm.
one-sided area. This is two-sided, right? Which means there's
Okay.
also
Yes.
people, cultural shift, mindset,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
also the ability to go and talk to customers, helping them
Mm-hmm.
understand what it means to be
Mm-hmm.
solving their or prevent helping them prevent bugs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what are the so this is directly related to BA in testing. um,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
the industry name for BA in testing is different, right? And
Yes.
what we have been trying to do in Moolya is something very different of what exactly is the kind of work that we're doing for BA in testing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you should also talk about a little bit of what BA is, what it means for testers to have that mind shift.
Yeah.
And then also talk about how we can sort of transition towards this, because I believe the world is not going to look the same way like it is today, and the same
Yeah.
thing will do for testing, right? I mean, we'll
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah.
everything it takes for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. So here's what I've understood. I'm like 19 years in testing right now, close to 19, and I have, by the virtue of what I've done, I've seen a lot of testers grow and a lot of things happen in the industry. There's this trend that I understand, that people either are very tech savvy, or they have to be product savvy. If they are neither, it's like being in the middle of the road and they're going to be run over. Now, a lot of people are very afraid to choose the product savvy role of a tester. Um, Now, why? Because everyone else is learning Selenium, right? Now, so I think people have surrendered to the fact that there's only one path in testing, that is only technical, and you have to go more and more technical. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. Now, this is a usually very controversial topic. I'll tell you why it's
Yeah. Yeah.
controversial before I go into the details. It's very controversial because the mind quickly jumps into a conclusion. And just like, okay, is this what Pradeep said? Is this what Pradeep said? Is this what Pradeep said? Um, well, it's very simple. I have a long sentence, so let me complete that. The long sentence is that there is a there is a nature of who we are. If we are passionate about technology, if that is coming naturally to us, or if we are inclined to learn that, we have to go deep on being the tech savvy. So I spoke previously about, why are you learning front end automation? Why don't you go learn about how people are building APIs? Why don't you write your own product and build APIs on that and see what kind of challenges you're getting? And then go to be able to say, look, I built a product. I understand the challenges of, building this product and what kind of bugs happen with APIs and or a product with microservices and all of this stuff. Now that I built the product, now that I wrote the code for it, now that I understand the challenge of it, I will be in a great spot to test. So this mindset is not yet there in the industry. We still are looking at, if I learn this, will I get the next job? Will I get the next better paying job? This is the loop. So people are not learning to solve problems. People are uh, learning to get the next best job. And I think if people break away from this, they will not just get the next best job, they will get the most beautiful job of solving fundamental problems. Fundamental solving, if you have to, in a tech stack, if you want to solve fundamental problems, you have to go deeper. You can't just keep staying on the surface. So it's very important that tech savvy testers look at going deeper. Like, for example, uh, what's say Abhijit, who works in Carousel, Singapore, is a kind of person that the little that I've interacted with him, that I understand that he seems to be that technical person who is going deeper. I've seen Anand Bagmar do this. I've seen Rahul Verma do this. I've seen uh, you know Nivedan in Moolya do this. I've seen a bunch of other people do this. Those people are developers, developers in testing, right? This is one area. Uh, uh, if you are tech savvy, become the best developer in testing. Who is not writing front end flaky tests? Who is writing tools? Who's writing um, uh, who's writing the testability layer for the automation to work well, and things like this. The other side of thing is, if you are if there is a natural flow of product or a business, if there is a natural flow of you know of the customer, uh, then choosing the product focused testing role makes a lot of sense, and that's what we're calling it as VA in testing. Is a very product and customer and business savvy role. Now, why this role is not chosen? Because, as I mentioned to you, the number of jobs here is less, and the number of jobs there is more. Hey, that's how that job was a few years ago, right? So this is going to become very important in the future, and I'm glad Moolya has identified this much ahead of the wave or the curve. Because all the businesses have understood that they've invested a lot of money in automation. They're hiring a plenty of estates, plenty of QA engineers, but the fundamental problems are not solved. And who is looking at the customer? Like, I know many testers that I've spoken to have not looked at the customer. They don't know about the customer journey. They say that, hey, I'm testing from the user perspective, and they have no clue about the user persona. So I think today, if people have that inclination, the program, like the way that we have built in Moolya, is to take them through what a product manager goes through. So here on the tech path, they have to become a developer. There is no other option. They have to be on par with the developer writing code. Here in the BA and testing role, they have to be on par with the product owner, on par with the product manager, right? Only then they can succeed. In between, I am neither deep tech nor I am deep customer and product. It's screwed. This is dangerous. So I have been telling this, and I want to repeat it again, that the middle class, like the middle class, is always the one that suffers the lot, right?
Correct.
I've seen poor, financially poor people still have a happy life.
Below.
Rich people, of course, they also have a depressed life. But I'm saying, okay, this is like saying, okay, my life has sorted out. But the middle class are the ones who are suffering quite a lot. And I think being in the middle class of the testing is very bad, just like being in middle class of finance. So that's what the perspective about this tech and product and customer focus is.
Yes, I think moving towards the pure technical, or I would say become really good at and par with product management and the developer, right? I mean, that
Yeah,
makes a
yeah,
lot of sense, because I think we at Moolya are looking at bringing the testing experience
yeah,
connected with the whatever the engineering experience or the coding experience that we need, and the product management experience that we are looking at, right?
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
this is not just for people who are in Moolya. I think this requires the you know thought
yeah.
process from the people who will be joining us in the future, who are watching this, who are going to watch this, right? I mean, they need to come with a perspective of this is the kind of problem that you are trying to solve.
Yeah.
And I believe the current state of testing is not what we were doing a couple of years before. And it's a transition. There's a lot of change that has brought in, right?
Mhm.
Now, talking about the state of testing, right? What do you think is happening now in the market? When I mean market, is there are multiple things. There are market, the startups who are coming in. There are enterprise who are moving towards startup thought process, and there are startups who are looking to build their own testing teams and
Mhm.
bring their or outsource it. So what does
Mhm.
it mean? What is the current state of testing? Do you think it is in the market right now?
State of testing. Okay. Although Mulya works with a lot of customers, I would still discount it as a limited view only, not the whole industry view, unless the whole industry works with us. Right? So my view is, still limited. So the state of testing, um, we have moved from one kind of chaos to another kind of chaos. Okay, it's I'll give you an analogy for this. So when my take home was 10,000 at the month end, I had the same balance as when my take home was 1 lakh, right?
Yeah.
So that's also what's happening in testing space. That the bottom line, okay, is that we have moved from one kind of chaos to another kind of chaos, but there is, still the chaos. Okay, now what has changed? Uh, what has been good? What are the good changes? The good changes is previously testing was considered like a like a like you don't need deep intellect to do testing. Now people I think have realized that they need really good thought processes to become a tester. And many of the customers that I speak to, they all keep saying the same thing, that the number one problem for them is to bring on board deep thinking testers. And I think that I'm so glad that they're saying it, because that shows that the industry needs those deep thinking testers. Um, the plenty of shallow thinking testers. Not that shallow thinking is bad, but that's where we all begin from. But a lot of people don't explore the depth of the ocean. So I think that is good that the industry has recognized that there are deep thinking testers. They can do fabulous things, and those are the people that they want. But the density of those people are very, very less. So that's the good thing, that the industry has recognized that, okay, there is this value from testing. Okay, the other thing is that they are treating testers on par with the developers and other people in the organization. So that's a big great thing, because when I started off my career, that's not how it was. It was I was paid 1/10 or 1/20th of what a developer was getting. And yeah, so I think that has changed right now. Okay, the other thing that has changed is that the industry has moved from where the testing was reporting to product owners to testing is now reporting to the technology leaders. Now, this has both pros and cons. I made a presentation about it long ago. When testing was reporting to product owners, there was a lot of customer savviness and user savviness in the testing, but they missed out technical bugs that could have been caught. Now it's completely moved away from product owners, and every technology leader is running it. So the customer focus is has reduced significantly, and the code focus has increased. I think I gave this analogy even in that presentation I did. I think everyone needs a microscope and a telescope. A microscope is the tech focus, where you go into the minute details of the code and say this is where the problem is. You also need a telescope, which is to look at the way customers are looking at it, or look at the customers and say, hey, this is also this is how, look at the product from outside and see the way the customers are actually also looking at it, right? Like so that way, I think the product, previously the tech focus was missing. Now the product focus is missing. So that's the reason why I said we have moved from one kind of chaos to another kind of chaos. And good companies have both product and tech focus. So and that's the world that Moolya is also trying to create by trying to say, hey fellas, if you're doing this, then you need this, or if you're doing this, you need this, and bring them. So yeah, that's what
I think
that's what
that's
yeah.
exactly what BA in testing is, right? I mean, it's to bring that
Yeah,
balance. It's
yes,
like the
to bring
Star
the
Wars
balance.
reference. Yeah.
Correct, exactly.
So, awesome. So we'll jump into the next segment, and next segment is a little bit interesting because it's going to be rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire
Okay.
questions. Oh my goodness, ouch.
Yeah.
Abhi,
So
you gotta be kind on me. You gotta be kind on me.
yeah, people want to do this. So
Okay,
happy
have
to,
have
yeah.
have people sent these questions, or it's you who made up these
This is
questions?
this combination of things here. So what we did is we did find out some from outside, and people also sent it to us.
Okay,
So it's
nice,
a
great,
combination of this. Okay,
fabulous.
so we have rapid fire questions. We have about like 8 questions probably. So we're gonna
Great.
start off with
Let's start.
first one, which
Let's
is
start. Yeah, let's
describe
do that.
yourself in 3 words.
Chaos, inner peace.
Inner peace. So I have to consider inner pieces. A word.
Three words. Chaos, inner peace.
Awesome. And the next question: if your life was a movie, which movie would it be?
Shawshank Redemption.
Awesome. So the next question: so what are 2 things that you would put on your bucket list? Do you have a bucket list? Number one.
Two things I
If
would put
there's
on the
two
bucket
things that you would
list.
put on your bucket
Okay,
list.
since it's rapid fire, I'm not going to think too much. I would put working with a lot of testing innovators, and bringing all of them together, and creating a big testing revolution. Okay, one. Okay, the second thing is to be able to bring this life experience thing that I spoke about uh, to millions of people on this planet. Okay, before I leave this planet.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what have you done that you're most proud of? I know answer to this question, but yeah.
I have I have I have learned when to shut up. Okay, as much as I speak, okay,
Yeah.
I also know when to shut up. So I think that's something
Many,
I'm incredibly proud of.
yeah, many people will be surprised of that answer, but yeah, take it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, the next question is, what is one thing that annoys you the most?
Um, that people have the opportunity to observe and learn, and they have no time for observing.
That's very deep. Yeah. Okay. So, so the next question is, how many books have you read this year?
Two,
And which are which are those?
nothing related to testing. One about food, the most important of all is
Yeah.
one about food, and another about it's about it's a Kannada book, that
Oh,
I'm reading, right now. Okay,
oh,
which talks
interesting.
about you know, which talks about Bangalore and things like that. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that should be interesting read. Yeah. Okay, and jumping on to the next one. So, what is the most interesting thing that you have in your wallet?
My my fishing license.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
very interesting. So,
yeah.
do you need a license to fish or something in India or?
Yes, we need a license to fish in some particular areas. So I carry the. I'm a member of the Wildlife Association of South India. So that's something I'm incredibly proud of.
Very,
Yeah,
very, very interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so jumping on to the next one. If you were on a plane that was
Hmm.
about to crash, I mean, hypothetical
Ouch,
situation.
ouch. I've been very. What
Yeah,
have
I
you?
hope nothing happens. Yeah, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay.
But who would you want to be sitting next to you?
Uh, who would I want to be sitting, next to?
Next to,
If
yes.
the pilot who can go take over and fix and save the plane.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
That's an interesting choice as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So those are some questions, but
Hmm.
coming to the last one, which is
Hmm.
a little bit more towards people who want to get into testing and things like that. So this is a
Hmm.
lighter version of rapid fire, but we'd want to
Hmm.
do testing rapid fire round in
Okay,
eventually. But
okay.
yeah, so what is that one advice you got
Hmm.
when you were young
Hmm.
and that you would like to share it to the future testers?
Okay, great. So in my first company, I was, uh, like everyone else, I was also very, tempted to become a full-time developer. So I went to my architect and I said, "Sir, I want to become a developer." And he gave me the Cunningham and Ritchie book. And since I was from an electronics background, he gave me this, Cunningham and Ritchie book and said, these are the exercises, and you write code and you show it to me, and I can review that and I can give you. So I was, midway in the book, and so this, you know, this architect who then became my mentor. Okay, said, Pradeep, why do you want to become a developer? I said, look, this is what I'm paid. And look at the developer, they're paid and their career growth and all of that stuff, right? Like I was just fresh out of college, and what do you expect? I was like any other Indian out there. And then he said, okay, so what if we flip? What if this company starts to pay testers 10x more than developers? Would you want to then continue in testing? I was like, wow, this guy just threw a googly on me. And then the other thing that happened is, he said, do you know how you test? And I said, no, I have no clue because I'm new to this. And he says, I have seen your test and read through your reports and all of that stuff. And I think there is some natural inclination that you have towards it. There's a natural flow towards it. So I was, then he said, Pradeep, I think you should stick to this path. So that path that I actually, stuck to has now helped me light up paths for a lot of people. Uh, so, so, this is what I, uh, got during my early years. And that's also what I tell people is find your natural flow, find a mentor, find your natural flow and stick to it. People are very tempted. After that day, I never bothered money. I never bothered to get tempted. I was jobless many times. People told me, you do this, you get this job, or you behave like this and you can retain your job. I just said, I'm going to stick to this path. I strongly, strongly believed in the path that my mentor actually told for me, and I stuck to it. If I had given up, then my mentor would have certainly looked very bad because he was the reason for my failure. Despite me not being let go at least 3, 4 times, I think what's it, sticking to this path is the perseverance. Is what has actually led here. Today a lot of people don't have that perseverance. So identify the natural flow, uh, what's a stick to it and persist during tough times. A lot of people today are like, okay, if you don't appreciate me, I'm going to run away from this place. I think in that case, I should have been out of testing long ago. Not that I'm like did something fascinating or I'm taking credit away, but I'm just saying that what's I love testing and I'm here, I'm still here, and I'm very happy about it. And today I'm in the opportunity. I've given myself an opportunity to enable a lot of people in Moolya to do much better testing than what I've done in my life. So I think to see this journey, people have to stick on to the path. A lot of people don't stick on. They are fast quitters. Fast quitting is not great. So all of this is what I learned during my the initial mentoring session from my mentor, okay, Sridhar Krishnamurthy, and after that, my life has been okay blissful in that sense.
Amazing. I think that's an important thing, is to find a mentor and stick on to it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going out of whatever I have to ask, but then I have one important question that I have to add on to whatever I've asked so far.
Mhm.
You always talk about creating leaders, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to enable people to enable themselves to
Yeah.
create more and more opportunities, become a leader. So
Mhm.
what it means for people who's gonna, let's say, get into Moolya and they want to become a leader, and what it means for them, is so-called leader.
Um, so a few years ago, I thought I can create leaders. Now I think I can identify leaders and remove obstacles on their way and support them. So, we can't create leaders because the creation of leaders, they have to do it. They have to, I mean, you have to want to be a leader. I can't create you into a leader. Okay, one. Okay, the second thing is that leadership, as I've come to understand, is a service. So, so being able to be in the service mindset is a very difficult job, very very difficult. And I'll tell you why. Because of our upbringing. Our whole upbringing focuses on just ourselves. It's like you did not do this, he got it, she got it, you didn't get it. So I think that piece. So we grow up just listening to me, 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 me. Suddenly, now I'm a leader. I have to serve others. How is it even possible? Right? So this service mindset is not what we are cultivating at our house, at schools, at colleges, and even at workplaces. So I think this service servant mindset has to come in. That we as a leader are actually servants, and the better servants we are, the better leaders we are. So this mindset has to be nurtured, and people have to see the value of going beyond themselves. Like for example, right, till the last year, this guy was fighting for his own, promotion, his own hike, his own money, and all of that stuff. Suddenly you say, oh, you're being promoted to a leader for your team, and it's like, okay, what does it mean? I was fighting against this guy to get more money out for myself, and now you're saying I'm a leader for this guy. Now, the only thing that typical people think is, okay, now I'm their boss. No, 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 no. Now you're their servant, and I think this mindset, okay, shift is hard. Uh, and here is another thing. Huh? Okay, everyone can look like a leader when everything is going very well. Put them in a tough spot. That's the test of leadership. I think standing there when there is a storm is very very important for a leader. And I think a lot of us, the way we are brought up and the way we are looking at jobs, it's like, hey, this year I didn't get good hikes, I'm gonna go away. Like in 10 years of somebody's experience, they've not stayed in a single place where they think that they have not been appreciated. Suddenly at the 11th year, what will happen to them if they really don't get it from anywhere, whichever company they go, they will feel depressed. That's like, look, I was, so it's like this, right? One of my friend, he was a topper right from like LKG to he was a you know he was a 10th topper, he was a 12th topper, his photo comes in the newspaper. He was a university topper. He got the best out of the job out of campus. Everything went great, and then he thought uh, he could do a startup and he could also become that billion-dollar company, and his startup didn't work, so he got depressed. Now, that's sad, right? Like, why should a
True,
topper
true.
get depressed? So I think it's very important that people face failures, and only when they face failures, when they stay in the failure, and when they learn from the failure, they become a leader. Today what we're doing in Moolya is, if somebody is failing, we help them by saying, stay there. We are okay. We are not judging you. You don't get anxious. Solve the problem. Learn from it. Ask what help you need. This is how we are enabling the leaders. So one is that we are building the service mindset, the servant mindset. Second is that we are building the muscle to face the failure. So these two things are critical about leadership. So that's what we are trying to do here.
Well, thanks. I think we are running close to 1 hour now. I think there are a lot of people who are watching, and more people will be watching later, because people can go back and watch the entire stream once again if they want to. So, what is
Okay,
that you would like
nice.
to say to people who are watching? And uh,
Thank you. Love you all. Uh, you all have uh, made me possible. I really fold my hands every day before I eat my food, and I express a lot of gratitude to my fellow Moolyans who is actually giving me the food every day. It's their work that I am benefiting from. So I eat the food with great gratitude. So thank you all. And then many people in the community who have also supported Moolya. So I think I live with gratitude, and I thank you all, and I hope that I will be able to be a good servant to many more people, hundreds and thousands of people. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this life. So thank you
awesome,
once again,
awesome,
and you
awesome.
all
Thanks,
you all stay
Pradeep.
safe. Thank
I
you.
think it was a great pleasure for me to host you. I think we should continue to do this. Continue to share your knowledge to us and help us and enable more people. And thanks for taking out your time, and wishing you a good day.
Okay, thank you, Abhi and Rocha, for setting this up, and thank you to whoever who wanted me to come and speak. Now it's my time to shut up and go. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See ya.
Thanks, Pradeep. Thanks. Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. I think there'll be a lot of clips and videos coming in. Do check out our channel, LinkedIn. So we'll keep you posted on what's going to come in next. I'm going to bring in a lot more interesting people to talk about a lot of things, and looking forward to the next one. Till then, thanks. Wishing you all a good day. Have fun.